Hi friends, it's me, Eva Nadiello, author of The Memory Box and the upcoming Psychological Suspense, Following You. And I'm here with week 10 of the 13-week book launch, a behind-the-scenes look at self-publishing a book. And I recorded this earlier today and it was completely blurry, and I went to go look at it and it looked like a hot mess. So I deleted that, and I'm just going to do one more, and hopefully I can remember everything I talked about earlier. I think I can. Hopefully this will be, let me just check while I think it's clearer, but I think we're good. Okay, so welcome back if you are taking another look at the week 10 of the 13-week book launch. I'm going to discuss with you today all of the things I have planned for week number 10. I can't believe how close we're getting to the launch of Following You. It comes out on February the 2nd. And so this week I have a ton of work to do. Today, actually earlier today, I was working on creating a 3-chapter sample. So the first 3 chapters of The Memory Box, my first book, to use as a reader magnet so that I can get readers to sign up for and subscribe to my newsletter, which I'm trying really hard to send on a regular basis. And I know this is something I should have been doing for years, but I always hated the idea of the newsletter, and I don't know, I was being maybe a little bit naive about the strength of a really robust email list and list of subscribers, which is, you know, again and again and again, we hear that that is the best way to reach your readers, is through an email list where you have direct contact with them. It's so different from what you have on Facebook, for instance, with your social media followers, because you can't reach all of them all the time. You know, based on the algorithms of Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you're not getting to, or LinkedIn, you're not getting to everybody all the time. So I'm a little late in the game to the email list, but I'm really putting in my best effort, and I am creating a reader magnet out of The Memory Box first 3 chapters, or possibly 4 chapters. I'm going to go back and see where chapter 3 ends. I have to choose a real good cliffhanger chapter to end on. And the other thing I am using as a reader magnet, is deleted chapters from Following You, the new book that's coming out in February. There were some chapters when I was trying to make it lean and mean. This was like final draft stage. I was trying to cut down on word count and really omit anything that was not driving the story further and carrying the story further. And so I had a couple of chapters, though I loved them, of course. I realized they really were not moving the story forward. So they got cut, but I still have them somewhere, and I'm going to use those as reader magnets too. And if you know anything about this upcoming book of mine, Following You, the protagonist, Shay Wilmot is her name. She is the host of a big-time celebrity host of a home shopping site and channel. And it's called iShop, actually. And so there are some scenes of her on air selling different product lines. And so one of the chapters that got cut was a scene with Shay selling a product. And I just think it's a funny chapter, even though the book is a psychological suspense. But anywhere I can, I try and put humor into the book. And so that I'm going to use too as sort of the blooper chapter, or the cut chapter, as a reader magnet. the other thing, speaking of the Memory Box, which is my first book, which is now 6 years ago, I published that book. I can't believe it's been 6 years. Time flies. But what I'm doing with the ebook version is I am launching a special edition cover that was just redesigned, which I'm super excited about. Even though I love my original cover, I'm going to show you one of the versions I'm considering, although I'm really thinking strongly about this one, and it's just a little printout. And you can see that's Caroline, the protagonist of the Memory Box. And it's got a little bit of a blur to it. I don't know if you can tell by looking at that. And that is a deliberate blur. And it's colorful, which is something we're seeing more and more on thriller covers or psychological thriller covers. You're seeing a lot of color. And so that has tons of color. I really like it. It pops. But I still think it has a sense of intrigue with that blurry sort of haze over Caroline's face. So what I'm going to do is the ebook version of the Memory Box. I'm going to use this special edition cover. And the main reason for that is I think it needs a little bit of an update. And I want to test to see if there are readers maybe that have not bought the Memory Box who would be my readers, but maybe the old cover does not appeal to them and they didn't sort of stop and look at it and read the description. So this is a test for that, and I'm calling it a special edition because if it doesn't work and I don't feel like it's giving the book a fresh look and breathing fresh air into it, then I'll revert back to the old one. But for now, that's set to happen this week, possibly. Yes, this week, with an updated back matter. So the Memory Box, I'm editing the back matter of that book to include a sneak peek of Following You, the book that's being launched in February. I encourage all authors who have books that are published every time they launch a new book to go back to the old ones, refresh and update the back matter to include new links to your new book, a sneak peek, either a blurb, a description. Some authors like to put the first chapter. That's up to you. I'm trying to not use a new ISBN number. And if you change too much about the book, if you change, the page count, and if you add too much to the book and change the page count significantly, then retailers will ask for a new ISBN, which I want to avoid because I've amassed a nice number of reviews and I don't want to lose those. And I don't want it to appear as if it's a new book. It's not a new book, it's just a new cover and new back matter. So that's what I'm doing this week. I am also planning in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I guess, to run a promotion on the Memory Box, a price promotion, and to publicize it with all the reader and book subscription sites out there. With this new back matter, with a live link to Following You, and what I'm hoping happens is people and readers who love the Memory Box, when they get to the end of it, they will see the blurb and the link for Following You, and hopefully they'll be interested in reading another book from me. So I'm crossing my fingers that that is going to be really worthwhile, all of that effort. What else am I doing? Speaking of the Memory Box, I'm thinking about finding your reader. I always talk about that, like, how do you find the perfect reader for your book? I wish, we all want to find the perfect reader for our book, right? So one of the ways I've been thinking about is, over the years, many reviews that I've received for the Memory Box will include a line saying, "Can't wait to see what's next from this author," or "Can't wait to read this author's next book." So they are my perfect reader, of course. They're looking already and patiently awaiting the next book. So I am going to be scouring all of my old reviews on all of my retailers to see what readers said, can't wait to read what's next from Eva Nattiello. I am going to go back to my Goodreads reviews. All of the direct messages, I get messages everywhere from social media sites, Goodreads, well, not my retailers, because you can't email or direct message someone from there, but definitely social media, definitely my website. And then again, look for people who were saying, what's next? When is it coming out? So I'm going to get in touch with all of those people. And it's too bad I'm not really organized, because I would have kept a list in real time of those people. That would have been a good idea. So I think I'm going to start that now for my next book. What else am I doing? I am updating my website. So just today I was talking to my website person who is helping me to create a new page for Following You. And what it made me think of is everywhere where I have a bio, and I encourage all authors to do this, think about every time you have to write a bio, and it's online somewhere. It's definitely on your social pages. It's definitely on your retailer pages, Amazon, iTunes, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Nook. You have bios everywhere. You have to keep them updated. So that's something I'm doing also, because you don't want someone reading a really stale bio from years ago. You want to put in there the mention of your new book when it's coming out, if you haven't done that already. And just to keep everything current. It's a really good idea to do that so it doesn't seem like tumbleweeds are blowing through and it's old stuff. Keep it relevant. So that's on my list for this week. What else? Oh, and I'm also thinking about launch day, of course, because it's fast approaching. And I really have, over the last, well, what has it been now? 10 months we've been living with the COVID pandemic, and I've been really watching and listening and reading about how other authors are dealing with launching books in a pandemic. And it's not easy. Obviously, there's no live events, which a lot of authors love to do. I love to do them. So we have to think creatively of how are we going to launch this book and, you know, announce it to the world and meet our readers, which is really so much fun in person, but we thank God for Zoom. So I am figuring out what to do on launch day, whether I'm going to do a Zoom with readers, whether that's going to be in collaboration with a bookstore or possibly a library, or even a Facebook Live like I'm doing right now. So I'm working on that, have lots of ideas. So stay tuned. That is what I'm up to this week. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you're up to, what you're working on, where do you stand right now in your author journey, sitting down and getting ready, or starting a new novel, starting a new book, finishing up one, ready to publish. Let me know. I would love to hear from you in the comments. And that's what I'm going to be doing this week. And I'll be here again next week, Monday at 3 p.m. for the 13-week book launch as we close in on release day for Following You, February the 2nd. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.